If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, excuse me, you know that I love Stargate. Stargate is one of those shows, or one of those movies, rather, excuse me, that it did not overstay its welcome. You know how some movies they'll come out with a TV series after, and there'll be a bunch of other things, cartoons, et cetera, and it just goes too long. It's too long in the tooth, and you're like, yeah, this thing should have ended probably years ago. Stargate is so unique in that the Stargate movie was excellent. Excellent. One of my favorite sci fi movies of all time. Just the whole premise, these Stargates that take you to solar systems and planets light years away, all interconnected throughout the universe. Who put them there? And then comes Stargate SG-1. I love that show. I love that show. I could watch reruns of Stargate SG-1 right now over and over again like it was the first time I saw it. I can remember the first episode, and all of the episodes were good. It was like Stargate for me must have been like what it was like to watch the original Star Trek when it first aired. That's kind of what I felt like. But Stargate SG-1 was good. Stargate Atlantis came out and it was good. I didn't follow that show as much. I can't remember what exactly was going on in my life at the time, but I wasn't watching much TV at all at that time. Stargate Universe drops, and I am flabbergasted at how good this show is. And then it was canceled in 2011. The last episode aired. I believe I looked it up because I could not remember. I was like, when did the last episode of this thing air? And it was May 9th, 2011. The details are foggy. I remember the acting strike was going on, I think, during that first season. And somehow that affected, well, not somehow, how that affected the show. And it never got its legs after that, and it just went away. And that was a sad moment. But my friends and fellow Stargate enthusiasts, help is on the way. Joe Mallozzi responds. That's such an Italian name. I believe he's Italian. Mallozzi. It just sounds Italian. Joe Mallozzi responds to Stargate announcement. Let's savor the moment. And Amazon is releasing a new Stargate series. And from what this article is saying, it's not a reboot. But this is what I hope. I want to know what happened to the crew of the Destiny in Stargate Universe. They cannot leave us hanging like that. That show just huge cliffhanger, and I never found out what happened. And I feel like, I don't know, like I'm missing something. I need to know what happened. Okay. Following Amazon's announcement of a brand new Stargate series confirmed not to be a reboot, longtime franchise producer Joe Mallozzi has weighed in, but fans hoping for concrete answers will have to wait a little longer. In a lengthy post on X, Mallozzi acknowledged the surge of enthusiasm and curiosity from the fandom while tactfully dodging the big questions. And I understand. Like, you're not going to get this guy to answer any questions about this upcoming Amazon series. He doesn't want to give it away. Oh, I also, and what I was mentioned earlier, I forgot about the Stargate movies that also were released after. One was on Amazon, and I think the other ones were movies for the TV series. I have to go back and look. I can't remember the exact details, but I remember that one. I'm pretty sure it released on Amazon. Was a pretty good movie. Okay, so I got that about the link the X post. Mallozzi opened his post by reflecting on the outpouring of reactions since the news broke. The response has been huge, he wrote. Noting that the franchise still commands a passionate following, there was excitement, jubilation, relief, curious optimism, certain trepidation, and naturally questions, lots of questions. He rattled off the ones fans have been asking. Where will the series shoot? Will we see any familiar faces? Are we going to find out what happened to the Destiny and Atlantis? For real. Like Atlantis, like I said, not so much, but Destiny. What happened to that ship? I remember the crew was, headed for, some kind of cryo sleep and headed for a long journey. And then we never got an answer. I hate when shows end on a cliffhanger like that. Like release a book or something. Explain to me what happened. Um, does the Goa'uld hand device work for left-handed people too? But for now, Mallozzi made his stance clear. Well, today I'd like to address these questions by telling you I'm unable to address any of these questions. I mean, did you really expect anything else? He's not going to give anything away. And I wouldn't expect him to. That would be a travesty. If he just gave up everything, spilled the beans, and there's, even though I think fans would still show up, it does create a little bit of excitement when you don't know exactly what's going to happen in an upcoming series. You have your theories, and everybody shows up to see who's right, who's wrong. Did we guess anything right at all? Okay. Questions, and this is, of course, some of Joseph Mallozzi's post where he's reposting some articles, saying a few things. He says, yes, it's true. 14 years after the franchise aired its last episode, SGU Gauntlet, a new Stargate series has been greenlit by Amazon. And it's not a reboot or a wholesale reimagining that will wipe the slate clean on 17 years and some 350 hours. Wow. That is 350 hours. I like the fact that they're not going to just retcon everything that happened before because, like I said, Stargate is a series that the people who loved it, myself included, we love it. We love it from Stargate, the movie, all the way to Stargate Universe. I love everything Stargate. I think it's one of the most interesting sci-fi franchises that really could go on for a long time, and I'm glad to see this from Amazon. Word of the new series broke last week, and I'd like to allow the revelation to settle for a little while, he explained. He likened the moment to savoring the decanted essence of a 2011 Lura Musigny Grand Cru. It's a wine that I knew nothing about, and you can guarantee I looked that up and I was like, how do you pronounce this exactly? Because I have no idea what this is. I'm not a drinker. Asking fans to appreciate that peacock tail of purple flowers, rose petals, and a wild strawberry whooshing across the tongue and disintegrating on the palate like the third shot from a Zat. I'm guessing this is all drinking stuff and wine tasting stuff that I know nothing about. I'm not a drinker. He noted that Martin Garrow, who is creating and showrunning the new series. Man, I could not get that out. Intends to involve fans throughout the process. He doesn't just want to make this announcement and then go dark for months on the end, Mallozzi said. He wants fans to be informed in a way that makes them feel like they're part of the process and as close to real time as possible. I like seeing stuff like that because I think in this new era of entertainment, I honestly believe this is the way to go. I believe this is the way to make a franchise sink or swim, is as much fan involvement as you could possibly get, my humble opinion. Mallozzi emphasized that while he'll be around for behind the scenes updates, it's Garrow who will be leading the charge. This is Martin Garrow's show, both literally and figuratively. So he's going to be leading the charge here, Mallozzi said. He earned that right and also is in the best position to coordinate with Amazon and the various media outlets. Still, Mallozzi teased that he'll be providing fans with plenty of updates down the road from the writer's room to the set. Another thing I like, get the fans involved. Fans are already excited about this. You generate more excitement. And here's another thing. The great thing about this being on a streaming service, there's pros and cons with streaming. The good thing about streaming is if enough people tune in, shows will continue. That's the thing, right? People show up, everybody's talking about a show, and now people start signing up for Amazon Prime because they're like, yo, what is this show everybody's talking about? They're generating money. They know it's because of the show. They keep the show going. You can't rely on me for my you can't rely on me for my trademark behind the scenes photos, videos, and insights on everything from writer's room, uh, lunches, and wardrobe fittings mishaps to disoriented accounts of getting lost in the woods during location scouts. He joked, all good stuff that we will get to eventually. According to Mallozzi, the team is still in the early stages of development. There simply isn't much that can be shared yet without stepping into spoiler territory, and you definitely don't want to do that. You don't want to have a full-on Tom Holland and release something that's like really something that was supposed to be kept secret. But he made a promise. As things ramp up, I guarantee that more information will be made available in an increasingly fast and furious pace. He assured fans that they won't be kept in the dark. You will be one of the most dialed in fandoms in sci-fi history. I like that. As for the question about the Goa'uld hand device working on left-handed people, I mean, I assume it does. He said, why wouldn't it? What do you think? Yo, I'm curious to see what direction they go in with this. Because as I said, that last show, Stargate Universe, ending on a cliffhanger, and you really never know what happened to that crew. And it was such a great story. And it was darker and grittier than the SG-1 show or the Atlantis show for that matter. Not that those shows were bad or goofy or anything like that. And I think the latter seasons of SG-1, I think it got grittier and grittier as the seasons went on. But this is definitely something I am looking for. What about you?